Why did the picture go to jail? Because it was framed. I'm Matt Howes, and this is Shits and Giggles, a podcast for dads. Winners, welcome back once again to the world's #1 podcast broadcast from this location right here. I am Matt Howes. This is Shits and Giggles, a podcast for papas, a podcast for all the dads in the world out there. I am your host with the most, who likes a pot roast for toast and believes in ghosts. Anyway, I'm Matt Howes. Welcome back, people. Welcome. I'm home. I'm back here in California. I flew to the East Coast, and now I'm back on the West Coast. See, I can return, I can reverse, I can overcome. Boy, howdy. I flew to Boston this past weekend with my wife and child, and boy, are my arms tired. Am I right? I'm almost breaking my arm, patting myself on the back right now. I'm telling you guys, I am so excited to be out of travel mode, I'll tell you that. But before we get into any of that, how about I slip into a little traveling advice? Here's a good little bit of dad advice for you. Did you know that when you are flying on a plane, most aircrafts, most airlines allow you to check a car seat and stroller for free? Yes, for free, not a $30 bag fee, nothing like that. It is $0, it's complimentary, and for how difficult it is to lug those things around, that was a very welcome thing that we found out. And honestly, it's a good advice for anyone if you haven't heard yet. That's how it goes. Free stroller, free car seat, and with your stroller, if you haven't done anything flying with your kids yet, if you have a compactable stroller, one that folds up real nice, you don't ever want to take your real good stroller, but we bought this one off Amazon. It folded up, you bring it, you keep the kid in it all the way up until you board the plane, you drop it right before you walk through the door, and they'll tag it, and it is waiting for you when you exit the plane at your location. Not a baggage claim, you can put your kid in it right outside the plane. And that's today's dad advice. All right, the road to Boston, as I have so titled it in my notes here, everyone. Apparently, I have the most beautiful child on the face of the earth because I don't see many people complaining about the thing that I'm about to essentially complain about. Every place we went from start to finish, this entire trip, I had people stopping us to tell us how adorable our baby was, how great our baby is, how amazing she looked. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I think my daughter's perfect. I've never seen such fanfare. It's like a celebrity walking through the airport, going through security, flying on the plane even. People would stop by and linger and be like, oh, she's so cute. And I'm like, get the hell away from me, lady. All right. Now, granted, it's the women folk more so than the men folk. But we did get a couple dudes who were, they enjoyed Little Penny as well. Had to stop and talk about that. But yeah, it's so strange to me. I guess I've always said, oh, that's a cute baby, but only like when the baby's staring at me or something like that. It's so weird, the culture of being able to just walk up and be like, oh, let's talk about your child. I'm a stranger. You don't know me. She's so adorable. I'm like, yes, thank you. I create a beautiful child. Hopefully the next one's a beautiful child as well. We pop out the cute ones. They'll have a very, very good life, the cute babies, because, the cuter you are, the easier it is to navigate life. Let's be awesome. Let's be honest. Excuse me. Yeah, so they were like literally ladies in one of the restaurants we were waiting in. We got way too early for our plane. One of the restaurants we were eating in, there was the waitresses, there was no one else in there, so everyone kept coming over and constantly obsessed with Penelope. And it was just like to the point where I felt I was just having like a morning cocktail to make the flight easier. But it's so like I was like, oh yeah, I don't want to be rude, I want to talk to you, but also it's my wife and I and my child, and we're just trying to relax before, because this is, again, we haven't flown yet, okay? We haven't gotten there. But yeah, and then when we parked up next to our terminal, we had plenty of people, plenty of looky-loos coming by, but there was another cute little kid that was running around, and I, of course, was like, oh, he's so cute, and so then I was the same person I'm complaining about. So I'm allowed to be contradictory to the things I say. I am fallible. I understand you believe that I am infallible, but I'm actually just inflammable, okay? Or flammable, because it's actually the same. It really means the same thing. I digress. Let's roll back. We took the flyaway from Van Nuys to Los Angeles International Airport, or LAX, or the laxative, as I like to refer to it as. And that's, we had 5 articles of luggage total. 5 articles of luggage, and I'm carrying these heavy fucking I had a bag that my sister-in-law gave me for the car seat, which we took our car seat, obviously. Apparently, I've been told the rental car seats leave something to be desired, and by something to be desired, it's like full of shit that the last kid left in it and is disgusting. And yeah, so we didn't want that, so we brought our own. And there was this bag, and luckily it had backpack straps on. I'm like, oh, this is going to be so convenient. I put the fucking bag on my back, and it dug so deep into my lower back that it was so painful to carry. But I didn't have a choice. I had to roll all this other luggage around with it, and we had Penny, and it was just a lot of stuff. So yeah, this is one of the biggest things you can learn is travel light. I thought we were traveling light. We were only there for a week, and I said we're going to bring one suitcase. We brought one suitcase and a carry-on. Then Sarah packed a duffel bag full of toys that we ended up getting toys when we were there. So, we took them back, so it was good to have the duffel bag. And then, of course, we had the diaper bag, and we had the stroller. So everything that you end up traveling with, you're like, ugh, I wish I didn't have to have this. So, like, when Penny's able to walk, that might be one less thing to carry, but that's not going to be for quite some time. But we get on the flyaway, they load up the luggage. All the people are so happy to see little Penny Poohead. And get on the bus. It is so cramped. The person in front of us somehow, and I don't think you're allowed to, somehow the seats in front of us were fucking reclined, and I was holding 2 bags. Half the time I was holding a baby, and I was hot. I'm wearing my jacket for Boston. I was not in a good mood, to say the least, and this is 5 a.m. So that was fun. Penny remained mostly calm. I had to stand her up and show her all the lights as we were driving by. And then, that was it. We got off the fly away, and there we were at LAX. Fast forward to our dining experience. Actually, security wasn't that difficult. They kind of let you, just everything goes on the terminal. Excuse me. Everything goes on the little conveyor belt as normal. I didn't have to go through the laser infrared thing. We just went a regular metal detector style, and that was that. But that was cool. What was one of the cool things? It's when you have a baby, everything is just so much, like, people are going out of their way to give you better service. So I'll get to that when we get to the plane, I suppose. So we're ready to board now. Sarah has been trying to watch a children's show. I don't know why, because we never watched cartoons or anything with Penny. I think she was trying to make us look like better parents in front of the other people. But I'd say we could have put on Walking Dead, notwithstanding, on her iPad, and we get called for boarding. Oh, that's what it is. So yeah, first and foremost, if you have a kid under 2, they let you board right away with the veterans, with the first class folks, and with the people with disabilities, which makes me think that some people consider having a baby a disability, but that's not my way of thinking. But hell, I'll take not waiting in line to board. That's great. That was the first thing, was we just get right on there. We get our pick of where to put our carry-ons, and we get settled before the rush of people comes in and the fight for the carry-on space begins. And luckily, no one's flying to Boston in February unless they absolutely fucking have to. And that was us. So we were on a relatively small flight. There was not a lot of people on it, but we got our seats. We're in the front row, the one without tray tables, the ones where the tray tables come out of the seats to save room because we're right next to first. Butts to nuts with first class, as I would like to say. And we had 2 seats out of 3. I'm like, oh, I hope nobody's in the seats. This lady turns the corner. Oh, great, a baby. And she's the window seat. So I'm aisle, Sarah's center, she's window seat. And we have just so much shit. And then we had to fucking get up. Oh, this bitch. Oh, great, a baby. Say that in your fucking head, by the way. I can make the next 6 hours of a flight very difficult for you, okay? Don't piss me off. I'm already irritated. I'm flying with a baby. And you just turn the corner. Oh, great, a baby. And I was like, yeah. And so I had 2 fucking jackets, 2 bags I was holding. I had to stand up and then let this woman, not even helped her with their fucking carry-on. I'm like, oh, let me please, I'll put that on. I'll put that up there for you. That's what tall people are for. Ha, ha, ha. It's like, okay. So she sits down and she is just squirming. And I'm like, shit, this is going to be a fucking miserable flight, this bitch. And I'm telling you, like, listen, you cannot be happy there's a baby on a flight. Do you think I'm any happier than you are that my baby's on a flight? I am so much more noticing of all the noises, hoping that you will not be disturbed by our baby. But you don't have to fucking say, oh, great, a baby. Like, come on. Etiquette, you dumb woman. Like, seriously, and like, I can make the next 6 hours miserable for you. It's very easy. Anyway, the flight fully boards. And this lady's like, oh, I wonder if there's any open seats anywhere else. And I was like, the wonderful flight attendant, Billy was his name. He comes down the aisle. I'm like, Billy, excuse me, Billy, is there any open seats? And he goes, actually, yeah. There's a whole row in the premium over there that you can maybe you guys can sit over there and have a little bit of a stretch out, and it'll be really fun. You'll have all 3 seats to yourself. And the woman looks so fucking pissed that we just got a better seating situation than she did. But this dude clearly saw that this woman was being incredibly rude to us and was like, oh, it's okay. And we walked back, had a great time. We had basically turned the coats I was holding into a nest for Penny. She slept most of the flight. She slept through takeoff. She did not freak out one bit. Towards the end, it was a little bit because she was starting to get a little irritated because we've been sitting one place for too long. But she slept a lot, and she watched TV with us. The flight was no turbulence. We caught a tailwind, so we got there pretty quickly. And that poor woman in the front. I hope she was able to finally relax, and that we made her flight ideal situation for her. God, oh great, a baby. So we land. Our stroller is waiting for us there. We go to the rental car place, get our minivan. By the way, we got a sick Dodge minivan. It was awesome, and I now want a minivan. Like, there's so much space. Why do they call it a minivan? It's not a panel van, I guess. But it was a good drive. We went to so the first thing I wanted to do was I wanted to introduce her to my father because he had never met her before. And we were going to see him at a party we were going to be at later. But I wanted him to have his moment alone. My mother had one, so we went to dinner. We got delayed actually by an hour and a half leaving because of weather in Boston. And I said to Sarah when they were delaying us for weather, I'm like, oh, this must be a California pilot because a Boston pilot can fucking land in a sleet storm. But we landed, but the original plan was go to the hotel, come back to dinner, and then it just didn't make sense to go to the hotel first. So we met my father at a restaurant called the Chateau in Braintree, and he meets his granddaughter for the first time. Tears well up in his eyes. A man who I don't think I've seen cry more than one handful of times in my life was so excited to meet his granddaughter. He didn't let her go the whole dinner. It was amazing. And it was great to see that, just to see that moment. It was like my mother had a very similar reaction as well, but my father has been always very lack of emotion, showing it. And just seeing that was an interesting concept. And it was a good experience, and so I'm glad he got to have that moment because it meant a lot to me to see that how much he cared about his granddaughter and meeting her for the first time and stuff like that. And that was Bob's your uncle. We ended up finished dinner. We go to the hotel where my lovely mother and my brother meet us. My brother gets to meet Penny for the first time. I almost called her Penny Jane. That's my wife's middle name. Penny Grace, Penny G. But my brother gets to meet her for the first time. He's all happy about it. He didn't put her down for a while. That was really cool. And my mother was just really excited to have Penny back because she hasn't seen her since the christening weekend. And that was a long time ago. Let's be real. And honestly, a month in baby time is so much happens between now and then. My mother saw a completely different baby than she saw when she came back here the first time. And it was cool, you know. And my mother loves Penny. She comes up, here's a gift for Penny. And she's some clothes and some toys, and there's a card with $20 in it. And she's like, that's for Penny. I'm like, nope, that's for Daddy's Kino. And that's what it was for. But yeah, what does Penny need $20 for? Come on. But no, it was so cool. It was good to be back around the family. And we wrapped that up. You know, we drank a little bit and relaxed and kind of we got upgraded when okay, so sorry, there's little things that keep popping up to me because I don't really need the notes for really any of this because I can shot for shot this weekend because I feel like I haven't slept. It's been the whole fucking time. But we get to the airport. We get to the Holiday Inn, Norwood. And, jeez, it's late for us, you know, and we want we check in and the lady's like, oh, we always upgrade so-and-so. My father-in-law used his points and got us like a room, but they upgraded us because he's like a premium member or something. And so she hands me Penny while she's checking us in, my wife, and I'm touching her. I'm like feeling this film. There's like dampness in her pants. It's like really like ugh. So I'm like, oh God, and she smells like shit. So she shit herself. It was disgusting. But now I'm waiting for these women to stop talking and schmoozing over my child and to check us in so I can go into my room. And we got a really nice room. Eventually, 10 minutes later, we get the cards, and then we go up to the room, and we open her up, if you will. The diaper was so bad that my wife couldn't do it, so I stepped in and I took care of it. It was the blowout to end all blowouts. Entire outfit trashed. It was green shit. It was green eggs and shit. It was all over the place, and it was disgusting. Like, I sanitized the shit out of my hands. I was holding her. I'm like, oh, the weird film was like some sort of liquid. Maybe she peed and it seeped through. It was seeping. It was everywhere. It was so gross. I love my daughter. I cannot wait for her to hear these stories when she's older. That's why I keep them. They'll be available in perpetuity for her entire life. But it was the blowout to end all blowouts. And honestly, it was the perfect end to a long and stressful day. Oh, I did forget to mention this. My wife lost her iPad at the airport. That was wonderful. So that was gone. So we had to deal with the in-flight stuff. They had iPads they gave out anyways. That's great. That was a new thing. But we're back. We're back at the hotel. Big shit. Then we go up to my mother's place, like I already told you. And then we go and get settled in our rooms. Really nice beds. Fantastic. What a great time. Well, we pretty much spend the next day just hanging out with my mother. We went to the Ocean Kai to play Keno, which is what I said I really wanted to do, and that's all I did. We essentially ate Chinese food all day. I lost a lot of money on Keno because it wasn't in my favor. Granted, I won $500 the last time I went there, and if I didn't mention this last time, I won $500. The lady counts out the money in front of me, and I give her a $20 tip. This is last time I went to Boston, not this time. She comes back to me an hour later, and she goes, did I accidentally give you $100 too much? And I was like, listen, I watched you count it out for me. I put the money in my wallet. My wallet already had more money in it. So I'm going to go ahead and say no. And I tipped you. Like, she was fishing for a $100 tip off of that. And I'm like, listen, lady, I gave you $20 and all you did was put a card into a machine. You didn't even serve me. You just fed a card to a machine. I filled out the card myself. You ran it through the machine and handed me a piece of paper. A $20 tip for that is amazing. I pay $1 a drink most of the time, or 20% if we're going for dinner, but $1 a drink at a bar when I do tips. So what do you think I owe you for handing me a piece of paper? For all you who know Keno, it's like the number game, the ball game, whatever. But lost a lot of money, you know. Then we went back to just hang out. We didn't have a lot going on. We were just chilling at the hotel with my mother and my brother. And that was just a great time. It was nice because it was so stressful the last time my mother came out here. And it was just, she was so new that we didn't know what the fuck we were doing. We were so tired. And my mother completely understands that. But this time she actually got to play. Frankly, she took her off my hands for a couple hours so I could take a nap, which is what I want. That was amazing. I got to, basically, I spent less time, and this is going to sound weird. I spent less time with my kid this weekend than I have ever, because everybody else wanted to hang out with her. Not that I didn't want to hang out with her, but I'll take it. Something you should always remember, if you have people who want to take the kid off your hands for a little while, do it, because you don't always have that. And it's nice to be able to relax without having to have one eye on your kid. You know the family's got to take care of it. We did a family party. My mother came, my father, all my aunts and uncles were all there, my cousins. It was huge at my Uncle Mark's place the following day. And it was awesome seeing everybody. We went there an hour early so we could hang out with Mark and Camille, and we just relaxed. And slowly people trickled in. I handed off Penny. There was a point where I didn't know where my daughter was for about an hour. And that's not a bad parent thing. I could trust every single person in this house. I'm not worried about it. But she was being passed around like a... what do you pass around? I mean, come on. Passing around like, I don't know. She was being passed around. Jeez. All right. I'm not going to linger on this. You don't have to give me shit about it. We'll just say she got passed around like a baby at a house family gathering. How about that? Moving past that. Jeez. When you can't find a word, it's so frustrating. But, it was really cool. I got to tell you, it was just, she got to meet so many people, and she's such a social baby. And it's just like, it makes me so happy that she really didn't fuss at all. She had only had meltdowns when we were driving home from places. She was so happy for the majority of the time. And, everybody in the family just was so happy. We got a bunch of gifts we didn't expect. And it was really nice, honestly, to recap in general. And, the last day we were there, it was, we got to hang out. My brother came down. We went to the Ocean Kai again with my father. And Kathy, his girlfriend, we got to meet a couple of her kids, ordered some more appetizers, lost hundreds of dollars on Keno. And Bob's your uncle. We head over to the airport for our final departure. And I mean, just seeing all the family members, I can't say it enough. It's sad. It was really sad to leave. I had a lot of anxiety leaving because it's like, I wish I could be around these people more often. There's so much love in this family, and I'm so far away from that. And I'm so lucky to have my in-laws out here because, I get that family from them while I'm out here. But missing my family, obviously, it makes me want to check in more. It's just you forget because it makes it easier when you live so far away. You kind of don't call as much because then you don't think about how much you miss the people over there. And I don't know if other people deal with it that way, but it's just like, you got to focus on where you're at. We live in California. We do have a wonderful extended family out here. Sarah's family is phenomenal. And yeah, so we do that. So anything fun on the flight home? No, she was an angel on the flight home. From what I remember from the airport, it was pretty mellow. We didn't do much. Had we ate at some hipster restaurant. It was like, I don't even know what it is. It just had the weirdest food, but it was good. And that was our trip to Boston. We get home. Oh God, we get home. We go we're at the airport, get all of our bags. I got all of our stuff. We're waiting for the flyaway. Flyaway is like 45 minutes late. It's late. We're all super tired. We got home like by 2 a.m, and I had to work the next day. I had to work for my boss the next day, and it was like ridiculous. And then of course she starts squirming around on the flyaway, and I'm like, I don't know, lady, you go enjoy squirming. You earned it. You were so good in the airplane. We get the thing. We pay for our exit tickets from the flyaway. Get in the car and we go home. We didn't even unpack. Why would we unpack? We literally just went upstairs. We put Penny to bed. We unwound. We unwound for about 20 minutes, and I slept like a baby. And I can say that now because my baby does pretty much sleep through the night now in her crib, but she also doesn't sleep all the time, and neither do I. She's up. I'm up every couple hours regularly, so I am sleeping like a newborn. Ugh. But that's it. That was our flight. I don't think I missed anything. Our Boston trip was just a very relaxing. I didn't get stressed out at all. I told people I told people that I wasn't going for everybody. It was just for the family. I told my friends, I'm like, listen, guys, I'm not going to be going out everywhere. I did have Pammy, my friend. She came to the hotel. She got to meet little Penny Pooh Head. She had a fun time. It was just a real great time. And I'll tell you, it's hard to remember how much fun you had when I haven't been living in Boston for 10 years. It's been a long time since I've been out here, and it just, I have all my memories and fun stuff I had. I met my wife and my daughter. I did meet my daughter, but I had my daughter out here. So there's plenty of great memories to be had out here. I started out pretty shittily out here. I didn't bring any money. I didn't have a job, and I worked my way from being a bouncer to my current job and being married, having a great apartment, and having a kid. It was kismet, and it's a story for the ages. Maybe I'll regale you someday with the start to finish of my employment history out here, because it was very scattered, and honestly, I'm surprised I lasted and it made it out okay. But we'll talk about that some other time. But yeah, that was the old Boston flight. Something came up when I was talking to my wife last night. This is just a different topic altogether. PC culture. I hate a lot of the stuff that's happening now. I just hate how irritating people are about it, I think, more than anything else. All this new politically correct stuff, we didn't grow up that way. And it's like I came to the revelation while I was saying it. I was telling my wife about it, or there's some stupid thing that they're doing now. And I was like, yeah, but you know what I realized? We may think it's stupid and we may hate it, and I do, really. A lot of this stuff is a little over the top. But it's probably protecting our kids more than we think it is. Like, honestly, I really wholeheartedly, sadly believe that this new PC culture is somehow protecting our kids. Now, there's a big part of it that I disagree with. I'm not going to get into it, but, honestly, I just think how people are being more vigilant, I guess we'll say. I think it's stupid when a woman will just come up to you randomly and be like, is that your kid? I know that doesn't happen very often, but it does happen more often now than it did before. And if that was my child with a stranger that was being kidnapped, I actually would be appreciative that somebody pointed that out, even though half the time it's just a father with their kid and they're just like, you dads don't take their kids out. You're a kidnapper. But, yeah, it's like, I don't like people sticking their noses in my business, but I do believe that this nonsense of politically correct culture is saving the world for my child, and hopefully we can get to, I guess we called it, when I was talking to my wife, we call it an overcorrection. We were far over to the left, and we were not doing, and then someone was like, well, here's where you need to be, so you have to really steer super hard to the right, and ideally you'll eventually get right where you need to be, where we're allowed to be funny still without offending people, where saying inappropriate things is just funny. You're not doing it specifically to upset people. I mean, come on, my show's called Shits and Giggles. It's in hindsight, it's very difficult to advertise for the show because a lot of places won't allow you to, quote, self-censor and advertise because it's whatever. And we've had that one ad on Facebook running forever because, I'm afraid they will not approve another one. And they haven't. I've tried to make other ones. They won't do it because of the word shit. And why people are offended by the word shit blows my fucking mind. But, this is just a weird topic I came up with last night that I kind of think is unfortunately the way it is. I like the world the way it was when I was growing up, but my daughter's going to be more protected because people are looking out for kids, and they're looking out for people with special needs and stuff a lot more. Therapy is becoming more appropriate, so people are going out to seek therapy and getting better. And so there are definitely benefits to this super PC, like everybody's gotta get a participation trophy bullshit. I don't disagree with that full sure, but whatever. Self-esteem is something that's hard to come by. So I'm hoping we'll get from somewhere back to where we know that everything's going to be okay. I don't know. It's weird. We'll figure it out as we go along. As this show's going to be on the air forever. But yeah, that was a weird thought that came up, and I'm like, you know what? I could cap off the prepared material with that. And as I do that, we now are gonna slide on down. We're gonna do the cha-cha slide, cha-cha real smooth, yeah. The Dadly News. The Dadly News is brought to you by Hard Hats and Bibs. Who are they, you may ask? They are a group of men and women who aim to show that it doesn't matter what gender you are, parenting is an even distribution of responsibilities. It's time to break stigmas. There is a lot more to them than just that, but you can learn more yourself by going to their Facebook page by searching Hard Hats and Bibs. You can reach out to them by email at hardhatsandbibs@gmail.com. They are also on Instagram and the Twitter. Well, who doesn't love a good bout of equality in parenting and breaking stigmas? That's what we try to do here, and we do it every week. Listen, this article is a little fucked up, so we're gonna have to read through this one, okay? BuzzFeed News. He moved with his daughter to college. Then he allegedly started a sex cult with her classmates. Wow. Lawrence Ray physically, sexually, and psychologically abused his victims on campus at the New York College, a federal indictment said. The father of a former Sarah Lawrence College student has been charged with sex trafficking her classmates, according to a federal indictment released Tuesday. Lawrence Ray, also known as Lawrence Greco, allegedly physically, sexually, and psychologically abused his victim starting in 2010 when he moved into his daughter's on-campus residence in Yonkers, New York, after being released from prison. The 60-year-old Brooklyn native faces a slew of charges, including ones for extortion, sex trafficking, forced labor, and money laundering. He was arrested Tuesday morning at his home in Piscataway, New Jersey. A spokesperson for the U.S. Attorney's Office told BuzzFeed News. Ray's alleged sex trafficking cult was the subject of a New York Magazine story in 2019 called The Stolen Kids of Sarah Lawrence. In a statement issued Tuesday, officials at Sarah Lawrence College say they launched an investigation into the allegations detailed in the 2019 article, but that investigation did not substantiate those specific claims. School officials said that they have not been contacted by investigators concerning the charges as of Tuesday. As always, the safety and well-being of our students and alumni is a priority for college. This statement read, "We have not been contacted by the Southern District of New York, but will of course go in cooperation with their investigation, so to the full extent of the law if invited to do so." According to the federal indictment, Ray presented himself as a father figure and indoctrinated his victims under the guise of therapy sessions. Well, that's a Freudian slip for you. Through which he manipulated them into sharing intimate details about themselves and isolated many of them from their own parents. As part of the abuse, the indictment said Ray would make false accusations against the students of stealing, lying, damaging his property, and even poisoning him. When they denied the accusations, he would interrogate them for hours, using tactics such as sleep deprivation, psychological and sexual humiliation, and psychological abuse. Ray got at least 7 of the victims to falsely confess to the accusations, the indictment said. After they confessed to the crimes they hadn't committed, Ray allegedly extorted them for money and unpaid labor. In at least one case, Ray coerced one of the women students into repeatedly engaging in sex work to earn money for him, according to the indictment. Prior to becoming an alleged cult leader, Ray ran in powerful circles. He worked on Wall Street, despite not having a college degree, and co-owned a nightclub in New Jersey. He was the best man at the wedding of Bernard B. Carrick, the former New York Police Department commissioner, who later went on to prison for fraud, partially due to Ray's role in publicizing his wrongdoings, according to the New York Magazine. Larry Ray is a psychotic con man who has victimized every friend he's ever had, Carrick told the magazine. It's been close to 20 years since I last heard from him, yet his reign of terror continues. The article concludes. Okay, there's a lot to unpack there. First off, I don't think parents or any adults that aren't going to the school should be allowed to move in to dorm rooms. Or residences. Some places have like townhouses. Another thing, did the daughter know about this shit? Because that's all 10 ways of fucked up. Again, the worst part is this is the kind of stuff that makes people shy away from general therapies. And some people posing as therapists or life coaches basically are doing exactly the opposite. They're indoctrinating you into doing what they want you to do. And that's not kind of fucked up. That is super fucked up. That is FUBAR, which is, in case you've ever heard the term and never knew what it was, it's fucked up beyond all recognition. FUBAR. And boy, just reading that article gave me some real douche cringes. Like, and the guy was hanging out with the police chief who gets arrested for fraud. No, go figure, hanging out with that kind of guy. And Owned a nightclub, pretty cool, I guess. But no, you got to start your college sex trafficking ring right after you get out of prison. That's pretty good. Well, I don't know how that whole thing worked out. And then we're talking 2010. A lot of things had to slot into place for that to work for as long as it did. And that's some gross negligence on somebody's part, to say the least. None of these, and I'm not victim shaming, don't get me wrong, but not one of these people came forward to be like, this shouldn't be happening. Nobody else on campus who wasn't doing these alleged therapy sessions found it weird that there was an adult male in his 60s living in a what must have been a girl's dorm room. And I don't know. And that's not victim shaming. That's just like, I think I've gone over before, where people just think someone else is going to take care of it. No, you can be the one to take care of it, people. If you notice something is weird, fucking say something about it. College should be safe. Everywhere should be safe, but college, school, they should always be safe. Being victimized in a school setting is negligence on someone's part. It's not the person who's the victim, but someone should have seen that over a very big amount of time, and not one person mentioned the oddness of the situation. And I'm talking about, there's security at colleges, there's people, there's cameras, there's all kinds of things. Someone should have been looking out for that. And you tell the whole fucking, the Sarah Lawrence University is like, we looked into it and this doesn't seem to be the case. And I'm like, of course you're going to cover your own ass, but now cover your own ass and then privately go in-house and find out what you fucking did wrong to allow that to happen. Blows my mind. So I wish all the victims a recovery, but that's some crazy shit. It's like, I don't want to send my daughter. I read these articles every week. I watch TV. I don't want to send my daughter anywhere now. I want her to stay in the house and never do anything and be with me, because it's so terrifying, that world out there. But we can't. We have to let go. We have to move on. And then we gotta go. We gotta get there. We gotta get down with the penny development. Where is she at developmentally? Where is she at developmentally? And we're back here. We're back at the Penny Dev section. Back here, top of the hour. WDAD got another for 65 degrees. Top of the week. We got Penny Development section on the line. Yes, Penny Development, my lovely daughter, who just, like a champ, took to the East Coast without a fuss. She went over there like a champion. She reigned. She saw, she conquered. She came, she saw, she conquered. She reigned. She had a great time flying. I mean, I'm telling you, I told you I was worried, very worried about this for a very long time. And my worries were assuaged, because she is the best, perfect kid in the world. And I know the shoe will drop. The shoe will drop. The terrible twos could come. You know, she could be just waiting, holding it all in. But as long as she knows she's loved, maybe she'll stay this way. We'll find out. One new development we found out, because we brought the powder formula, because it's hard to you have to keep the liquid formula refrigerated. We didn't have a refrigerator on the plane. We did the powder formula for her a lot. She started puking it up after like the third bottle or fourth bottle of it, because I really think she just was like, I think it's maybe crystalline or something, because it's not the liquid formula, it's the powder mixed with water. I don't know what it was, but we had to buy a couple bottles of Alimentum that we use. We use the powder Alimentum, the exact same kind, but we had to buy a couple bottles of that stuff for Boston's, because she was vomiting. She wasn't eating. And then, of course, like, we ran out on the way out. We couldn't bring any to the airport. We did buy one bottle for the airport, but we couldn't refrigerate it, so it was for one bottle just to get her some food. But, you know, she hadn't eaten for 2 straight bottles because she puked it up. And then finally, it had been so long that she ate the bottle. She drank the bottle. But it was scary, because I'm like, well, I don't have a solution for this. And we're about to be literally stranded in the middle of the air. So be careful. I guess that's kind of a warning. Maybe other babies have dealt with that as well. But too much of that powder formula without something to break it up, I don't know. It was a little scary. The little squish, this lovely little girl. What else has she been up to? She's starting to like kind of pinch her hands in front of her mouth when she's hungry, which is pretty cool. Like, she's really, like, she knows what she's doing, I think. She's starting to figure out that if she does that, I'll give her a bottle. Or maybe I'm just reading too far into it. But she's smart. She is a smart kid. She's got the pahk assist. I'll pack that on Harvard, with my khakis. I mean, come on. I was dropping my R's like it was going out of style back home. It's so easy to do it back then. I fought for a long time to not have a Boston accent, and now it's a badge of honor, in my opinion. But it immediately came back to this mix of whatever I have for an accent now. But that's my penny dev. She was a champion on the flight. She slept well. She's very well in the bed, in the crib. I've said that before, but she's sleeping through the night. Somehow, throughout all the nonsense on the flying that day, getting home, she still managed to sleep entirely through the night when we got her home, and I put her to bed at 7. I put her to bed at 2 or 3 in the morning, but she slept, although she had been sleeping the whole flight almost, so I was surprised that she managed to do that. So she's a champion, all right? She's got the pahk assist. That's all I'm saying. It's a reference to a Super Bowl commercial, and it's from all the people from Boston. Get over it. Oh, but guys, that's my penny dev section. I'm feeling good. I feel great. If you notice my voice is a little grainy, it's because you have to be the loudest one. And if you're in my family, in order to get heard, you have to be the loudest one in the room. And I refuse not to be heard. But we're doing great. I got a bunch of people. I had someone reach out to me for a meet and greet when I was in Boston. I do apologize I was unable to do that. But as I just explained to you, it was a jam-packed adventure full of fun, family, and farts. But we're doing great. More and more people past 30. We got a bunch of shit, man. I mean, it's going crazy. I am getting reached out to constantly about little topics, some of which I have already discussed. So just I emailed you with those episodes, and I will get back to some of these. This whole thing's been all about Boston, and then my very interesting revelation about PC culture. But yeah, here we are, just living life. Got a little picture of my daughter in front of my setup, my rig here. I look over at her. She's doing blue steel. She's so very small, and I'm just happy to be home, guys. I'm back. I got my episode out on Tuesday like I promised. I'm sorry. It's been a lot. The last couple of weeks have just been crazy. But now I'm back. Fear not. I am here for you. But, guys, please keep spreading the word. We are oozing across America. People are loving it. We got a lot of listeners now. And it's all because of you. So always, as I ask you at the end of every episode, I would love it if you know somebody who is going to be having a kid or had a kid recently, or even just likes to hear fun, frustrating stories about my life, which you will get a lot of. Share the wealth. Shits and giggles. All right. It's a good show. We won. We're 23 out of 25 on the top 25 podcast to listen to in America 2020 on, that website that I listed last episode. I don't remember what it was. But yeah, that's great. We're up there, and good. The more recognition we get, the better fathers will look. We are dads united. Like I said, my buddy Nick Doyle is doing this Dads of the South Shore thing, where he's going to start a podcast, he said, but he's done this merch and he talks about dads getting the recognition they deserve, and I fucking love it. I'm probably going to call him up and have him on the show. Check him out, Dads of the South Shore. It's on Facebook, and the South Shore, of course, is of Boston. It doesn't really matter. Just take a look at his stuff. He's got a website and everything going on right now. And that's about it, guys. So you know what? I'm wrapping it up. I got to turn it down. I got to pick it up. I got to tune off, turn out, and get down. All right, so here I will do as I do every week. I will leave you with my world-famous words of wisdom. My kid is better than your kid, and vaccinate your kids or keep them the hell away from mine. I'm Matt Howes, and this has been Shits and Giggles, a podcast for dads. You've just listened to one dad's perspective on parenting. This show is not meant to be an authority on how you should raise your kids. Did you enjoy the show? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share on social media. Leave a review. Anywhere that you can find and download podcasts, you can find Shits and Giggles. Find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at shitsandgigs42 with 2 G's. Email us at shitsandgigs42@gmail.com. You can find us on YouTube as well by searching for Shits and Giggles, a podcast for dads. Don't forget, you can also call the hotline to leave a quick story about you as a parent at 818-835-2350. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.